I was born in a cab. Sorry. Born in a cab. What is up, everybody? Welcome to Ryan and Brian Talk Sports, as always, presented by Pickett Sports and now Boom Fantasy.
All right.
Ryan, how
Boom.
are you?
Doing good, man. I'm excited. This is actually a pretty nice looking slate, in my opinion. I'm excited to break it down. I got a few plays that we can go over. I'm sure you do as well. So yeah, let's have some fun. Happy 5 p.m. on a Monday.
Sam in the chat says, I never thought I would hear an opening with Brian. I was born in a cab. Yeah, Tone Stamp, our producer, did say I want to go live to mute you guys. And I was a few seconds too late on the queue, and I wrapped up the conversation we were having by I was born in a cab rather than saying I'm born ready. So I was
We
not
opened the
born in a
show and I'm
cab.
just geeking out to that.
Yeah, so it's all right. It's a good opening.
Yeah, man, for sure.
If you can't, go Birds. If for all those who celebrate, it is Victory Monday for Eagles fans.
Yes,
And
sir.
my advice to anyone that is an Eagles fan is to just tone it down on social media. You don't have to be an asshole. It's words I live by ever since I was born in that cab. Is you don't have to be an asshole. So let's just enjoy it and get ready in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, man. The way I kind of think it is, I'm gonna like celebrate the shit out of this week, just be happy, and then I'm just gonna live in pure fear and agony next week. That's kind of how I have embraced this situation. Uh, it's almost it's hard to describe. It's so bittersweet when your team gets in this situation because it's absolutely horrifying, to be completely honest. It was obviously very exciting at the same time. But yeah, like all day yesterday prior to 3 o'clock, horrified, absolutely horrified.
Yeah.
Then we went up seven. I felt okay. Purdy got hurt. I still was like, eh. I felt like we played kind of garbage for a little while there.
We played horribly.
Um,
The Eagles franchise as a whole played kind of terribly. Jalen
Line
Hurts
was great.
did not look sharp. Jalen Hurts did not look
Not at
sharp,
all.
which
Not
it's
at all.
very nice to get these 2 weeks. I think it's good for both teams. Mahomes gets a chance to rest up. So does Hurts. Should be a fun game. The script, quote unquote, as people say, couldn't be written better after the Chiefs did pull out the late game win. You get the Kelsey brothers. You get the Reed old team narrative as well. And I as a Eagles fan since I was born however many years ago,
In the
always
cap.
been in a cab. I think Andy Reid owes this city a championship ring. I think he owes us a Super Bowl ring. So this is his chance to give it to us. So I'm excited for that, for him to be able to give us that championship.
Yeah, somebody asked fly Eagles fly with a question mark. So I had to
Yeah.
show the hoodie.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this is gonna be fun. This is the third time of my life. 04, and then when we won in 17, and then this year. So yeah, this will be a fun couple weeks to kind of think about this, enjoy it. And like I said, just simply lose sleep and sweat and dread every second at the same time too, because these opportunities come fairly seldomly, especially when you're like Detroit fans or some of the other whatever shitty teams Sam likes.
Yeah, whatever team they have written. I guess it used to be the Jaguars. You go there every year when they were
Yeah,
trashed for that. But we don't want to spend too much time on the Eagles. But I did have to break out I call it the last pick of the draft jacket. Because every time you're the last pick of the draft, you kind of just come out with like the craziest get up. If you're the 60th pick of the NBA draft, they always are wearing some kind of lime green shoes and just trying to try to be relevant. So this is my last pick of the draft jacket I got for my 21st birthday,
love it.
and I wore it first time. I think one of the few. It's a very tough jacket to wear, but I did wear it to like the casino like at Valley Forge for my 21st birthday when I went out. Got some good compliments on it, but it's very tough to find moments to wear it. So this felt like a good chance to do that.
There you go.
But yeah,
First,
like I mean, like I said, very exciting, but almost more exciting if you're not an Eagles fan. If you're just a sports fan, is actually a decent slate of the NBA games today.
yeah.
There's actually a slate where I circled about 6 spots and I locked in two early that I really liked, and then kind of toilet bowled around just going around thinking I want to play something, not really sure. It's a great spot for Bradley Beal, but Bradley Beal is also my least favorite person in the world. Like he doesn't seem to respect the community. He doesn't seem
Yeah.
to respect people that, trust him. People are working real life jobs, putting money on Bradley Beal, and he does this thing where he'll score 16 points in a minute and then he won't take a shot for 36 minutes and then just kind of like he kind of enjoys it. So it's a weird guy to trust, but
Yeah, I was up for about an additional hour last night, just simply looking at props, prepping for today's slate. And the first one to catch my eye was indeed Brad Beal, 21 and a half. And I got super excited. I went and I looked at the injury report and I saw that Kristaps was off of it. And I was like, oh, okay, let me slow down, kind of
yeah.
figure out, catch
I
my bearings
actually
here.
I actually
Yeah, and
saw someone on Twitter that took Bradley Beal, and in the write up it says his numbers without Porzingis are this, and I didn't comment, but in my head I was like, pretty sure Porzingis is back. So
yeah,
it's
he could face restriction. He was only out 3 games, but could face restriction nonetheless. But without him, Beal wasn't. He was only but so like aggressive. 17 shots is decent volume, but also not that much. Considering the circumstances, and with Porzingis back, it is a good spot. I mean, against the Spurs, it's a smash spot for Beal, and he should go over, but I'm struggling to lock that one in. But that one was been on my mind a lot of the day.
yeah, I do think it's a great matchup for him, but it's also one of those things when you play the Spurs, it's very tough because it's a good matchup for just about everybody that can live and breathe on a roster. So it becomes a little bit tougher.
Yeah.
But before we get into more of these other plays, I think that we actually want to start off with a play there where rarely me and Ryan are never on the same page, but we actually like the same guy today, and that is Nick Claxton of the Brooklyn Nets, who gets to play against the Los Angeles Lakers without Anthony Davis and without LeBron James, who is still suffering from a foul call 3 nights ago. Sorry, that was just like a quick joke I wanted to fit in there. But I'm going to let Ryan take the floor because we're on different props for him. But overall, all you have to know is that we're playing almost every single version of Claxton tonight where he's on the points and I'm on his overall PRA and PR. But I'll let you talk about the points first and I'll add on to a little bit.
Yeah, that's perfect. This is on my first couple look throughs on the slate. This is most likely I'd say my favorite play. I went personally with 16 and a half points, which over on DraftKings, which was minus 115. You could say that this is the best stretch of his career. I don't think that's really that far-fetched by any means. In the past 9 games, he has 9, 17, 15, 20, 20, 24, 25, 27, and then 13 last game where he went 6 of 6 and actually had a career high in assists with 6. So he's hit in 6 of these 9 games since Durant went down, which is obviously awesome. 69. He's averaging 18.9 points in that stretch. He catches the Lakers, like Brian said, without AD and LeBron. While there is, I guess, some blowout potential, the 4-6 record of the last 10 games for the Nets, it doesn't really scare me away from wanting to bet this game. The Nets aren't playing well enough to frighten me away from the 9-point spread or whatever the hell it is. And he should be seeing a combination of Thomas Bryant, Ryu Hachimura, maybe Troy Brown very occasionally, probably some Wenyell Gabriel. And I don't really see any of them slowing him down. I think he's unbelievably efficient. I think he's shooting almost 75%. I'm sorry, 75% this month, which is unfathomable. Obviously, a lot of them are dunks and very close looks to the rim. But I mean, we're talking guys that cannot stop probably Brian from scoring at the rim. So, he should continue his efficiency and he should get really nice looks, easy looks at the rim. I even think this one has ladder potential. I am actually just going to kind of sit and hang out at this with the 16.5 point line, but I could see him scoring in the 20s here. I think this is an absolutely beautiful matchup for him, but I'll let Brian kind of continue on.
Yeah, and to add on to Ryan's assessment there is the Lakers aren't that good. So next prop we have is so that's, I mean, you said an hour you prep for the show. I actually come into the stream at 4:55 and I jot down everything on my mind real quickly and then hop right in. But no, the Lakers without LeBron and AD is a very good spot in my thinking because Claxton does not really venture away from the rim often. And that's kind of why I like this PRA angle for him. He actually had 6 assists last game. He basically looked like John Stockton out there with his passing ability. Yeah. And I like the idea of I actually split half units on PR and PRA. And mostly that is because I like both of these, but after seeing what he did without some of the guys in the lineup with assists passing out of doubles or passing out of the paint, I do think there's a chance I could save it. But I also think he could have 30 PR alone. So I do think this is a good spot for him in that. The Lakers are actually giving up 23 points per game and 16 rebounds per game to like centers. And even though he's kind of listed as a power forward, he's he plays a center role in that team. He does not really move around the paint. And I also like the idea that Ben Simmons is still questionable. And I actually was like looking at that without KD. His RA is actually he averaged 11.6 and 2 assists without KD per 36 minutes. But if Simmons also happens to miss a game, that jumps to 13.5 rebounds and 2.5 assists. So not saying I'm hoping Ben Simmons is out, but I wouldn't be surprised if he sits. And if it does, I just think this number gets even more valuable. So as Ryan mentioned, the plus matchup in the paint, I also think a lot of those points you can see at 16.5 will come from offensive rebounds against a Lakers team that has really struggled against stopping big men from, the offensive boards. And they also just play fast enough, but there's going to be a lot more missed shots. And Nick Claxton has kind of, come into his own. He's actually at 30 plus PRA in 7 of his last 8 games. So he's seeing legit minutes. And that's what the other thing is that they finally have trusted him to play those kind of minutes where he's used to seeing, say, 22 to 23 minutes a game, even to start the year. But the last 10 games, he's really stepped up, seeing 33, 34, 36. Like, he's played some good minutes, and he's established himself on this team. And if he's going to – if they blow it out, I think a big reason they'll blow out the Lakers, if that happens, is because he dominates the glass and doesn't give up second chance opportunities, and he creates second chance opportunities. So I do think it's a great spot for him.
Yep. Beautifully said. I'm going to actually kind of put our props on pause because I've had a lot of messages about it on Discord and, a few on Twitter as well. But DraftKings has a wonderful promo. They used to run this for NFL towards the beginning of the season. And I think they got kind of crushed on it, but they brought it to the NBA. And I think it's something that you should play pretty much no matter what. And no matter what your limit is, I think it's a very, very profitable kind of boost, and it's NBA early win. So basically you take a team's money line, and if they go up 10 at any point in the game, you win your bet. I don't know if you had seen this, Brian. I'm kind of throwing you on the spot. This is completely unplanned, but I was curious if you had any like teams in mind for that promo. Sorry.
Yes, that would be the Philadelphia 76ers, who play a team of the Magic, who have actually been kind of like a spark plug team. And I know my friend Joe Delara is using his promo on the Magic as well. If you want the value, I believe the Magic, last I checked, they're 9.5 spread, but their money line is, I'm going to update it now, checking the Pickett Sports app. Good plug there. I can't get fired now. But nice. Currently on DraftKings, it's plus 310. So it's definitely a more risky option. If a lot of this is about maximizing value, and the Magic are a team that, they have a lot of young scorers that they can jump up to a 10-point lead. I think it's very possible that they do that for a Sixers team that I've seen go cold many times. And at the same point, Joel Embiid is still questionable. Don't know if he's going to play, but you get the benefit. If he doesn't play, you get great closing lineup value. But also, if you didn't see, James Harden, Tyrese Maxey, PJ Tucker, and Tobias Harris were out last night with Joel Embiid and Kevin Hart and all those after the Eagles win. So if you want to play the angle of party on Sunday night with a Monday night game, high spread, young team with a lot of talent, I think there's a chance that the Sixers could start out slow and you can get that 10-point win.
I think that's super interesting. I was actually going to bring up a similar one. Or I'm sorry, I was going to bring up the exact same damn one because like, what was it, Sunday? We just got news that Embiid is a game time decision, which isn't really
which means absolutely fucking nothing.
It's not news, but it was a new update. But I think that's a super interesting one. I mean, that game against Denver was pretty insane, very emotional comeback win. I don't remember. I think they were down maybe 15 at halftime.
I believe so.
59 or something along those lines. And Embiid's usage was just absolutely through the roof in a pretty emotional win coming off the news that he was not an all-star starter. And, shout out to Joel because, good Lord, he just went fucking insane.
I posted on Pickett app. I said Joel Embiid will score 46 points, and I took him up to 40 in a ladder situation. and I was a little upset he couldn't hit a free throw for me to make like he missed he made an extra one because I said 46. I was really hoping he could, he had to score 47 to make me look like an idiot.
You fucking jackass. So I guess all I'm getting at is like this just feels like a potential letdown spot, especially without Embiid, and if by chance he does go ahead and sit, that brings the Magic a little bit closer to the forefront here, and I'm sure we'll still be fairly large favorites in theory, but this just kind of has letdown spot written on it. In my eyes, I think it would be a nice use of the promo. Hit or miss. Could obviously miss. The Sixers have been playing really good basketball overall, but I think that's a good use of it. I really like the Kings for some reason. On this one, I've been tempted to play them at minus 115. I think that's a good one. And then a lot of the other games are a little more spread out. As some big favorites. Hawks have kind of caught my eye, but Trae Young's questionable. So I won't make a final decision on this one for a little bit. I mean, we have so much to figure out. I don't want to go ahead and jump on the Magic yet. But I just kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that promo because I think it's an awesome one. And I hope they do this pretty frequently because I don't think we should ever let this go by the wayside. I think this is a promo that you should play anytime you ever get it.
And to add on to your point about whatever the hell you were saying, I kind of tuned it out, but this is a great promo, and you shouldn't let it go by the wayside, as Ryan said. But you also got to remember too that the NBA is such a game of runs that sometimes you can I know some people that use this and they'll play the Nets like minus 370 or whatever it is because they should win. But at the same point, it's just like you gotta maximize the value here, and you can get some underdogs for great chances because just because you are up 10 means you can lose by 40 in this league. So I think it's like you got to play the spots that you think have legit value and not just try to, convert $50 into $10 on a minus 500 money line that's going to lose by 36. So I do think it's about finding the spot. So I do think as much as I am a Sixers fan, it is a tough spot where it might be worth the value at plus 300. Or you mentioned the Kings, which is another good one. That is a closer game at minus one spread.
Yeah, I think in order of at least what I'm considering is would be Kings number one. I kind of don't want to go with a minus 115, but I just like the chances of it winning. Then I'd probably say the Magic is number two for me, and then I'd say the Thunder. Warriors are at full strength, I believe, but at least pretty much at full strength as far as their superstars, but they still have been really bad on the road, and the Thunder are just somehow really, really solid.
Great against the spread too.
Yeah, they are. They're very good against the spread, and at plus 160, that one has crossed my mind as well. I'd say those are kind of like the main three that I'm considering here. I would not be surprised in myself if I bitched out and just went with the minus 115 Kings, but just kind of wanted to talk about that promo a little bit because I think it's a great one.
I also believe the advice I would say is depending on your limits. Some people get $5, some people get 10, some people 50. I believe 50 is the max, like overall.
200, but I'm not sure what I want to do.
Oh, that's probably because you lose a lot of money on DraftKings. But
this is the first time I've gotten above 25 in months on anything.
So this means it's going to be all close games. Which does that mean it's good slate to bet on? I don't know, but because in my thinking, I do have a $50 max, my unit's 100, so I'm in the point where depending on what your max is relative to unit size, I do think that factors in because for half a unit, I do think it's worth taking like a plus 300 risk.
Yeah, go fuck around and see what you
over if it was like a $200 bet, which is 2 units, I would know if I'd be comfortable betting 2 whole units on a plus 310 underdog despite the promo. So just be smart and make sure you kind of can assess the risk that you're willing to take on a promo like that, but definitely take advantage of it.
For sure.
Yeah. So I'm going to take the next one because another team I was looking at is for this promo. It's like minus 125, but it is I like the pay. I kind of like the Blazers tonight because I'm just not convinced the Hawks are as good as they have been, but they've been a lot better. But I am on Murray's PRA today, which for some reason, do you know the situation with Trae Young? Because Trae Young was listed probable, and then now he's questionable.
Typically a death sentence as far as playing is concerned.
I only asked because I took over 30.5 PRA for Murray, but PointsBet is the only book that's really giving lines for any Hawks player, which I think is a little weird. It's a little concerning only because I kind of want Trae Young to play because as much as people would think if he's out, Murray's usage would go up. But I kind of this morning I thought Murray was probable and he was definitely going to play, and now I'm kind of concerned if he's not. But if he doesn't play, I think you're going to get 30.5 on all books with Trae Young in there. And this is one of those spots where to start the year, the Hawks really looked dysfunctional. If you watch them play, they really did not gel well with Murray, Young, like in that similar roles that they play, but they kind of found the groove there. Murray gets a lot of run on that second unit, and he can gather a lot of RA there. And with Young in the lineup with him, he gets a lot of easier breaks to the basket. And this is a matchup where Josh Hart's also banged up, and Murray's going to find that he gets a better matchup here than Trae Young if Trae Young plays, because he gets the benefit of the doubt of not having to face these all-star defenders that are looking to lock down Trae Young. So I think that Murray would see a lot of these secondary matchups, whether it's Simons, Grant, or one of those like secondary guys to lock him down. And he's so good in the mid-range that I think he's going to have a plus matchup in that mid-range, with his size. But also the Blazers allow a lot of points in transition and fast break. And if he's able to run the floor against this team, he gets so many RA chances in that fast break. And it's a very plus matchup for a team that is not as great getting back. So, I mean, up until last game, he was kind of really, really consistent with this number, but he's over this number in 7 of his last 8 games. And he's just playing really good basketball. And I think his combo is so vital because I feel like at any point he can score 25 points, but he can also rack up 10 rebounds or 10 assists at any point. So I do think this is a good line. And I hope Trae Young plays, and I hope it becomes a widely available line where he's able to just crush this.
Yeah. Yeah, I would agree. It's pretty interesting. I think DeAndre Hunter is the main beneficiary of Trae sits as far as increase in usage, not necessarily who we would perceive to be, which would be Murray. That seems kind of intuitive that he would take on the most usage increase, but it's actually been DeAndre Hunter. Fairly small sample size nonetheless. But yeah, I mean, I like it with or without Trae, but I think, yeah, like you said, you kind of prefer it with Trace. But either way, that's a really nice look. I have one play in the semi later slate at 9 o'clock. I'll go ahead and dig into that, and then we can kind of talk into some spots that we're considering. My next play is going to be Gary Trent over 18.5 points.
This guy. Yeah, no, yeah.
That's Ben Simmons just got ruled out, by the way. I don't know what that means for anybody.
That's very big for Nick Claxton. That's what I was hoping for. And I will say there's nothing better than making a play on the hope that someone's out because you're not sure he's going to be in. And he is out, because even though he's going to score 2 total points tonight, just regardless, it does make you feel like you have a slight win. So I do like that. Sorry, that's good news for anyone that was able to hop into the show and lock in anything with Nick Claxton, because his points aren't necessarily super effective without Ben Simmons, because Ben Simmons doesn't really score ever, but his RA is definitely affected in a positive light.
Yeah, I agree. Also, TJ Warren was ruled out. I don't think that I don't really see too much impact on Claxton, but just kind of give the news as we get it. Anyway, around it, Gary Trent, he's minus 112 on FanDuel right now for over 18.5 points. Since 2023 has began, he's actually been really, really good. I'm kind of shocked. I've kind of thought of him as a pretty inconsistent player a lot of his career. He started off in Portland, I believe. I mean, he was behind a lot of guys, but when he got his chances, you saw like this guy could go the fuck off, and then he could score 3 points in 28 minutes the following game, and nobody would bat an eye. And then this month came, and it's really been impressive. He's averaging 20.8 points this month. He's shooting 45% from the field, 38.8% from three, 89% from free throw. So he's played in 15 games this month. He has 31 or more minutes and 16 or more points in 14 out of those 15 games. So 16 points in 14 out of 15 games. So, his floor has been really, really steady. He does have one massive stinker where I think he scored 7 versus Atlanta in the middle of the month. But other than that, I mean, 16 plus and 14 out of 15 is really impressive. He's averaging 37 minutes this month, so the opportunity should be there. it's a close spread, and he only averages 2.2 fouls a game. So like, when you're thinking, why would I miss this prop? Blowouts are always possible, or like random rotational changes you can't foresee, or foul trouble. He kind of misses most of those boxes. Anything can happen, of course, but like, I feel really good that we see him on the floor for 35 or more minutes, and I would even say closer to 37, 38 minutes. So again, he's averaging 37 this month. Let's bump it down a little bit to 35. And in the games that he's played 35 or more minutes, he's hitting this in 16 out of 23 games, which is 70%. And then matchup wise, Phoenix in the last 30 days has allowed the most points to shooting guards per game. And then he also tied his season high this season versus Houston, and he had a 35-point game earlier this year. So really like the spot for Gary Trent. I did like Pascal as well, but I think Trent stuck out a little bit more to me here. Pascal's usage has been kind of unfathomable recently, like especially like these past couple games. So I don't hate the 23.5 or whatever he's at this point, but Gary Trent in my heart was the better play.
Yeah, I only made that half grown when you first said that, because how Gary Trent seems to be a very, very polarizing person in this overall betting community, for the exact reason you said of he really can have these games that makes you just want to put your head into an oven as he's shooting like 1 for 32.
Yeah.
So that's, but I do think it's a great spot for him, and I do think that's an overall game where you mentioned that thing earlier, that promo. I actually do think Raptors at plus money is another team that could be a good one, because the Suns are so capable of letting games get out of hands right now. So
yeah.
I do think he has a good matchup, which in turn leads to the Raptors overall having a nice little matchup against the Suns.
Yeah. I know you mentioned you had some spots circled. One for me that comes to mind is Draymond rebounds. I'm kind of I shouldn't be. I'm like 95% sure he's going to start at center, and if he does, 8.5 rebounds at plus odds is a really nice look. Wiggins should be back, slotted into the power forward, which should put Looney back on the bench. I can't imagine they go put Jordan Poole back at the 6-man right now. But that one that's my closest to being played without locking it in right now, is Draymond Green over rebounds. But go ahead. I know you had a couple spots as well.
Well, it's actually funny you said that, because I was actually just texting some people about Draymond Green. In terms of, I know you said rebounds, but I was actually looking at his RA, which is actually plus money now at 15.5. And as of right now, in checking with Underdog, there is no Andrew Wiggins on the injury report, which, as you just mentioned, would actually be very helpful for these props if you're looking at Draymond Green, especially because with Wiggins out, you don't need as much of Draymond Green's elite scoring ability. You can really rely on that. But honestly, I was gonna say the big thing with me with Andrew Wiggins being healthy is that Draymond Green averages 2 assists more per 36 with Wiggins on the court when he's out. So I actually might fire on 15.5 RA, because Draymond Green, as much as like the flock he gets for being Draymond Green, he is a guy where 8-8 just feels so possible, especially in this matchup. So I do think it's funny, and I'll probably text you after the show, because I think Draymond Green is one of the biggest spots I had circled for the RA.
I honestly, this was minus 122. It was a little while ago when I looked. It was minus 122 for this exact line earlier in the day, and I kind of grimaced at it and moved on in life. Seeing it plus 102, it's very tempting. I almost want to just go ahead and lock that bad boy in. That's a nice spot right there.
Yeah, I do think it's funny where I think sometimes you can use or try to use an NBA injury reports to your advantage, where there's certain spots where a guy being out might help you. Like it might help your odds, but it might help your situation in terms of Wiggins being in will probably tank a lot of Draymond Green's lines, because they have another starter that's healthy again. But in my opinion, I like the RA a lot more with Wiggins being in. So you almost get a discount for something that's helping your prop.
Yeah. Isn't that something? Yeah, it just dropped to plus 100. Shit, I think I'm going to go ahead and make an on-air play, and I guess in a sense steal what you just talked about. I'm going to go ahead and play
No.
his RA right here, right now, at plus 100 on FanDuel.
Oh, so you're taking the RA. You're not taking the rebounds. Okay, so if you're doing
That,
that, I'll
that
probably match you with the RA.
yeah, that Wiggins stat spoke to me a little bit. I like that. I was considering RA as well, very heavily. So, and I like this plus 100. So yeah, this will be an on-air play for me. Draymond Green over 15 and a half
It
RA.
definitely feels nice seeing it at plus money too,
Yes.
because with a lot of RA props or overall assist props, because I hate assist props overall, just because they're so volatile. But this is just, I mean, the over under here is 240.
Yeah.
I mean, that is a big total, and that means a lot of made shots and a lot of missed shots. So I do think this is a good spot for Draymond Green. I'll even check his I guess I would say double double, because you can't really say triple double, because then you have to rely on him to get 10 steals or 10 blocks. And then worst comes to worst, after those two missed, you gotta hope he scores 10 points. But I do think RA is a play I would look at after. So when we get off the show, I probably put it out so we can even make like a cute little like Ryan and Brian talk sports tweet as well. That's like a sharing that, because people don't actually watch the show. So maybe if we if it wins, we can get like an extra 2 followers for next show. But that is a big spot. We already talked about the other play I was looking at, which is Brad Beal or Bradley Beal. You always call him Brad Beal, so I like it. Um, but yeah,
And
those are
Brad
like
Beal, man.
I would say too, those are the three props I was looking at the most, along with Josh Giddey. And Josh Giddey is a guy that he's actually playing extremely efficient basketball right now. I like his PRA, but at 31 and a half, it just seems a little high,
How would you
because
how would you pivot?
I don't know. Because he's a guy where him and Murray are very similar in terms of, I almost feel more comfortable playing their PRA and dying on that rock rather than say playing PR and watching them go for 17 assists.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
they do this things where they just, I mean, I like Josh Giddey a lot. I think he's very talented. He's actually getting to the rim a lot more. But if I will say this, based on starting lineups, it will decide if I decide to pull on Giddey. Because if we are correct that Draymond drops a 5 and Looney gets out of the starting lineup for this game, I think that's a huge win for Josh Giddey, who is so good at getting to the rim and making plays happen at the rim. Where if he can win that size battle, I think it would be more likely I'd play it.
Yeah. Good deal. Good deal. What other games are we looking at here? This is just a pretty slate. That Sacramento Minnesota game. I don't know. This season I feel like I've struggled a little bit more to pull the trigger on a second leg of a back to back, or more so like just struggle to, I guess, hit props in the second leg of a back to back. These games seem so volatile to me. I've kind of struggled to find my place. Like, do you buy low on a guy after a shitty performance, or do you buy a high and kind of trust that he's going to dominate that matchup again? For example, De'Aaron Fox, he took 24 shots and shot fairly inefficiently, but he scored, I think, 29. And then, he opened at 24 and a half, and I was really tempted. And then it blew the fuck up, and I was like 26 and a half or something like that. But, second legs of back to backs have kind of kicked my ass a little bit, in all honesty, this year. But that game is screaming at me, over and under of 238, two fast paced teams that with limited defense. I would imagine I'll find something in that game. Anything stick out to you personally?
Oh, I actually kind of agree with you there, where I feel like, especially closer to the All-Star break, I'm a little more wary to touch back-to-back games, because you never really truly know how some coaches will handle the minutes. So I think it's interesting where you kind of want to find the glue guys that will see the minutes. And De'Aaron, I mean, you mentioned Fox, and I actually think he's a guy that will see minutes no matter what. But
Yeah.
he reminds me of Brad Beal. Like, him and Bradley Beal are very similar in terms of their offenses actually have decent playmakers where they can affect the game even if they're scoring, say, 12 points. If they're able to use their passing ability and use their teammates a little bit. So De'Aaron Fox is another guy that I love his game, but I've kind of stayed away from betting as props because I've seen him score 30 and then follow that up with 6 shots the next game
Yeah.
and do a lot more of that kind of volatile offense because they are so uh what do you call it? They are so talented in terms of offense, but
Yeah, they seem to kind of tighten up their rotation recently. They were fairly loose to begin the season, and I had a really tough time kind of anticipating what they were going to do because Monk could just step in and play 33 minutes at any point. He's kind of fallen off a little bit, and they've ridden their 5 starters for a good 34 minutes fairly consistently recently, which I like. Those are the kind of teams that I like to target. Even though the Raptors, uh, it's tough to get the correct Raptor on the correct night sometimes. But at least you're throwing a guy out there that's going to play fucking 38 minutes most likely. The
yeah,
Kings have kind of developed into that to a certain extent.
which is wild because they play so fast and
Yeah,
they play so high intensity. So
yeah. I think obviously this kind of goes without saying, but a big factor in this one will be Rudy Gobert. His rebounds open at 11 and a half. They very well may still be there. And I was talking in our NBA chat earlier today, and there was one tweet that had him projected like 14 minutes and had him 50-50 to play due to his groin injury. So I didn't really want to do too much until I found out Rudy Gobert's status. If he's like a full go, that 11 and a half rebound prop is super interesting to me. If he's not a go, then that probably even opens up this game even more. It was 117-110 last game. I could see this kind of falling into a 120s matchup, and which obviously in theory should be a very heavy over kind of game as far as props are concerned. So a good game to target. As the season's gone on, I found earlier in the season I would have a lot of like plays at 9 a.m. I guess more so due to excitement, but like I've learned my lesson so many times. Like, why not just fucking wait? Sometimes you'll miss out on closing line value, and that sucks to a degree. But in Dre's case, I almost locked in Dre at minus 122 earlier. He's plus 100 now.
yeah, I was gonna say Draymond Green RA best odds at the moment is minus 105 on DraftKings. So I know yeah, Ryan and I did just get it at plus 100, but we probably won't be able to make a full post until after the show. So if you wanted to get it before it moves, I think 105 should be safe, but if that it's DraftKings is the best odds at right now. So I think that's probably where I'll play it at and post it out like later.
Yeah,
Even though I was able to lock in the plus 102 on FanDuel.
I did post in Discord for the plus 100.
Wow.
Um,
That's crazy. You're fast as hell with that. I
yeah,
don't have your
wow.
notifications turned on because I don't really care about what you do or say, but
Thanks, man. I appreciate that.
I'll screenshot that and I'll add my own analysis because I do think that's a good one. I do think Draymond's a good look there for RA.
Yeah,
Someone in the chat did just ask about the up 10 promo. We covered that a little bit earlier in the show, but I believe our consensus would be the um we like the Magic if you're looking for more of a long shot after Philly was out partying all night last night after the Eagles win. If you're looking for more of a safe one, I believe Ryan gave a lot of good points for the Sacramento Kings at minus 115. Or I'll add in one of the ones I kind of liked where another closer one with the 1.5 spread is the Raptors, who are plus money against the Suns, who have been struggling up and down. So those are the kind of three that I would say if you want to like kind of associate and figure out what you're willing to risk in terms of a long shot or a closer spread.
Yep. Yeah, Brian. Yeah, like you said, we hit on this earlier. Brian's max is 50, which is a half unit for him. In theory, if you got a half unit to bet on this, I'd kind of shoot for the Stars. Magic are a good play. Mine's actually 200, which is a complete utter surprise. I've been maxed at 25, sometimes even 10 on a lot of their promos recently, up until today, which I'm super excited about sweating. But that's 4 units for me. I probably won't even max out the full 4 units. That's just kind of insane. But in that sense, that does kind of push me more towards that minus 115 Kings line rather than the plus 320 Magic line. So
Yeah.
base your decision off your units and what you can risk. But I think those are 2 good options on either side of the spectrum. If you have a big old max bet that's a lot of units for you, Go safer if you have a big unit size and you got a shitty max of $10 or 15.
Yeah,
Shoot for the stars.
yeah. I'm Irish, so I have a really small unit size. But that's a whole other conversation. But someone in the chat asked about the Lakers Nets game, and it could be a trap game for the Nets as well. We've seen it before with the Lakers missing LeBron and AD when they played the Heat, and I think they won by 16 or 14. They won that game pretty easily. So I guess if you have AR-15 out there, you have Austin Reeves, probably one of the best players out there. So when he gets a chance to shine, you want to back the Lakers maybe, but I do think there is some good games on this slate to use this promo, and I think it's one you just, even if you don't max it out, I think you just want to find the best value and make it worth your while.
Yep, agreed. TB 50 piece incoming. One time Thomas Bryant was plus 200 for 60 points on PointsBet. That's one of my favorite stories from this 2022.
Did you take it?
Yeah, it was a 7-unit max. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a Max Whale lock that I posted on Twitter, but it lost because he only had 8 points.
Damn, he was halfway there at one
point. If you think about it, 52 points away is not that bad. I don't have any more plays currently for the slate.
I don't either. If you wanted to do move on to the Pickett popular plays.
Well, hold on. Have you ever done this show before? Are you even looking at the ticker? You're not looking at the ticker?
We already kind of covered the NFL, though. I mean, okay,
no,
go NFL. We
covered the welcome.
All right. NFL.
Go Eagles. All right, go 60. Ahead.
Now the Pickett popular plays. I will say this: I bet on the Eagles minus 2.5 against the Niners. I took their spread against the Giants. Super Bowl, I think I'm too emotionally invested. I do not think I'm touching it, and I also think that the Eagles open at plus money and they're a little bit underdogs. Now they're minus 2.5. I think any side kind of lost a lot of value after they got hawked. So it's very tough to bet on these kind of games where the lines get so like sharp. Because, I mean, once you get to the Super Bowl, the NFL bookmakers don't have many games to really worry about. They have one game to worry about. So they usually, I feel like, are pretty sharp in making sure they get that right.
Yeah, for sure. Somebody mentioned Bull and his points. It's 6.5, which is obviously such a low number. But his minutes have been a little too all over the place. His usage is a little too inconsistent for me personally.
He does hate the Sixers though. Him and Mo Bamba. Mo Bamba does, but usually Bo Bolt and they both
on us every game.
Usually they both do that, but Mo Bamba usually just gets more minutes. At least the last time I went to the Sixers game, I'm pretty sure they both had good games. So I could be mistaken, but I know Mo Bamba definitely has that narrative. But I don't know. As the Magic minutes scare me so much because
I love Cole Anthony points today, but I haven't been able to lock it in because he could get 13 minutes tonight, and then I look like a complete ass. But he's been scoring. But I'm feeding into your point. You go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, you go. I actually appreciate you adding something to the show.
For once. Hey, I'm here. I was on time. I was present, and I added something to the show finally. So it took me 47 minutes, but there you go. They made a song about Mo Bamba, actually. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
All right. So Pickett.
The Pickett popular plays.
Please. Let's see what we got here.
Mine's not loading. I do have it pulled up, but I have these little bars that are going dude.
I got number one.
Yeah.
I got number one.
Let me guess who it is.
Yes, please.
Fuck. Who's on? I want to say it's Bradley Beal, or I'm gonna go. Who's? Let me look at this late. It's either him or like Dame Lillard or like some of these big stars. I'm gonna go. I'll go Dame.
Shocking for sure. It's not Dame. It's some dude named Wardell.
Wendell Carter. Yes. That guy?
Wrong one.
Okay, so Steph Curry. Okay,
Steph Curry.
I was totally wrong. All right, I was wrong. I'm sorry.
It's all good. Yeah, we'll survive. Yeah, so Steph Curry is the number one most popular player. We dig in his assist I think he had 11 assists last game, so I'm sure a lot of people kind of fed in and joined in on the assist party. But for the most most part, excuse me. It's been points, Steph Curry points. I mean, you know, we've been watching this for 12, 13 years. I don't think there's too much we can add. Last I checked, Steph's pretty good at shooting.
Someone needs to pass. I mean, Draymond needs to pass somebody. So
That's right. That's a fact. I will say this OKC defense is. I don't know
sneakily
how the
good.
fuck they do it, man. I really have no fucking idea how they do it, but it's a pretty good defense. I'm not saying you can't hit the over 28.5 by any means, but you know, it's not as easy or as much of a shoe in as it would have been in years past. This OKC team is pretty impressive despite their like lack of talent and especially lack of size. You know, they play pretty good basketball. With that said, you know, I don't really have too much hesitation about the points. I kind of my gut feels Jordan Poole here, but my gut felt Jordan Poole this weekend, and he had almost more fouls than points. So that goes to show
It happens.
my gut and Jordan Poole's relationship. But yeah, Curry points. You know, not many hesitations. I will say, you know, I will give credit where it's due as far as the OKC defense, though.
So now we know that Ryan cannot get a read on Jordan Poole. That's what we learned. His gut and Jordan
on Poole this season, but this weekend I bet on him, and he was. I don't even think he made it halfway to the prop because of foul trouble. So
that's rough. Yeah, I have no hesitation on Steph Curry. But I do think he has a good matchup, especially because the one place you can try to beat the Thunder is you can try to get the PNR and the little, you know, the little wing screens they do to open up some 3-point opportunities. So he does have a good, you know, matchup in that regard. I actually saw some people taking his under an assist at 6.5 for the same reason that people would like the points, is that he might just have one of those games where he gets in the zone and passing is the third thing on his list after shooting and shooting. But I have no hesitations there. I still can't open the app because I think I have too many things on my phone.
All right, well, I'll carry the show per usual.
But what's the second one? I'll try to guess it. I did so well last time.
All right, so let me see. It's purple.
What does that mean?
You figure that out, pal.
What does that mean? It's purple.
Fucking purple, man.
I don't know, man. What does purple even mean?
Go look at the slate. You'll find some purple somewhere.
Oh, is it Fox? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Fox.
Yeah. Okay, I knew that.
I could have said it's an animal, but I went with purple.
If it was an animal, I would have done like Draymond Green because he's a dog, man. He's gonna put up 60 tonight. Draymond Green,
60 assists.
60 assists. Yes. We talked about Fox a little bit. I do like De'Aaron Fox, but I just him and Trae Young. I mean, not him and Trae Young. Someone in the chat mentioned Trae. But him and I was gonna say him and Bradley Beal are the two guys that are just so frustrating to bet on because they go on these crazy hot streaks where they can score 10 points in a quarter and they can just totally disappear from the scoring realm. So that's my only critique of De'Aaron Fox.
Nice. I like that. Yeah, this feels like a good spot if Gobert's out. You know, it's full send territory on points here. He lit him up to an extent, but he also missed 14 of his 24 shots last time. I don't know if that's you know, that could be good or bad. You know, maybe he's more efficient, but I'm not sure he takes 24 shots again. You know, his points and assists is a good luck. Either way, I mean, the over under on this game is stupid high, and you know, we know we're going to get 36 minutes out of Fox, so you know, opportunity should definitely be there. I obviously pretty clearly understand the temptation of betting De'Aaron Fox tonight, especially after a pretty good game.
Before we get to the last one, someone in the chat said the books are too scared to give a George Niang 3-point made prop, which I agree with. Bang bang George Niang. He's gonna go off like every other game. Honestly,
what's his nickname? The school bus?
No, it's the minivan.
Minivan.
It's the dude.
If you think about it, it's the same damn thing.
Dude, my younger brother's in high school and he's a big Sixers guy. Whenever I get together with him for the games, every time George Niang touches the ball, I just hear from like the freaking back corner, the minivan. he drives to the hoop. I just hear my brother from the back couch like beep beep motherfucker.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Kate Scott's nickname for him is just like the bang bang George Niang. But
yeah,
Kate Scott also
pretty good.
She also just says the most ridiculous things of all time. But whatever, it's part of the game. But
yeah,
the final guy George Niang. Is he the third most bet player?
Now, I'll say if his props are available, I would imagine they would be. However, the third guy has been One of the two guys that has been on my mind since last night, and there was way better ways to say that. Uh, as far as the Suns game is concerned, Suns and Raptors, but more specifically to the Suns, it's Chris Paul. And Chris Paul has
Oh,
been
I gave him a
playing
look
like a
too.
fucking maniac recently. Now his double double was minus 115 last night. I stared and I stared and I stared, I stared, I stared, and I was like, fuck, I'll go to sleep and I'll wake up and
So wait,
it
you're
shouldn't
telling
change
me
that much. Hold on, go
you're
ahead.
telling me the one guy in your mind you stared at all night? Is that what you're just saying?
No comment.
You should. All right. Well,
No comment. Yeah, but no, I thought about his double double last night. He's been playing out of his mind. He took 20 shots last game, which is super intriguing to say the least. And then he also had double digit assists. I think he's got a double double in 4 straight. I think we've every capper in the world that bets NBA has beat it into the fucking ground, including myself. How the Raptors like to trap their point guard and leads to assists, all this and that. I kind of see that fizzling away a little bit recently, to a certain extent, but it leads you to believe that Chris Paul could have a nice opportunity for some assists tonight. His points, honestly, in my personal opinion, Ryan dreaming about the Bosa brothers. That's the last guys I'm dreaming about. Fuck those dudes. But I actually kind of like Chris Paul points. Him and Michael both opened at 17 and a half. I believe they're probably both still sitting right there. And I love them both so much that I couldn't commit to just one of them. And here I am. I was
Mr.
looking at this.
Noodles.
What?
Mr. Noodle. That's Mikal Bridges' nickname.
Is that right?
Yeah, Noodles. That's like Mr. His nickname's Noodles. So pretty cool guy. I don't know
I
how you
didn't
don't. I
know
don't know
that.
how you don't take him.
I don't know either. That's one guy. If there's a trend of the show, I like these dudes that are going to play 38 minutes. Shit, he'll probably get 40 tonight.
Dude, you're digging yourself in more and more of a hole. I'm gonna clip so much content here. You just mentioned how you like guys that go 38 minutes, so that's another one I'm gonna be able to clip and use for later. Teams used to chant noodle at him in high school. It's true. It's very true. He's a good guy. The one thing the Sixers really, really messed up in the last few years was trading him 17 seconds after drafting him.
No, Zaire Smith is a Sixers legend. He's a Sesame Seed
Oh,
legend.
remember that time he made that layup in Summer League? That was dope.
It was
Uh,
it was legendary stuff. But anyway, around it, Chris Paul assist is a very popular play tonight. I actually kind of like the points. I like the double double back when there was value there. But I'm also
PRA.
kind of stuck between. You said PRA.
PRA's 31 and a half. That's what I gave a look to. I mentioned earlier how Mon Murray and Claxton, there's just certain guys where I think the overall stat combos can be better to trust.
LJ Normandy just said the greatest phrase: "Don't let Chris Paul be in charge of your coin."
And that's fair. I mean, that's all right.
I love.
But I think we're ignoring the big question of who's he gonna pass to? Mikal Bridges, DeAndre
Now,
Ayton. I
Now,
mean,
one thing that I've seen fairly popularly throughout Twitter is the fade DeAndre Ayton train. And when they
yeah,
played Toronto earlier this season, he struggled pretty bad. He maybe even scored single digits.
scored four. Scored
Did he
four
really?
points. Yeah, it was
Did he
four
really?
fucking points. Yeah.
Damn. I'm curious. If it's not DeAndre Ayton, then he's probably going to be passing a lot to Michael Bridges. And man, that motherfucker's going to get 40 minutes. There's no way he can't score 18 points in this matchup.
Yeah, that's what
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking.
This game's been eating me alive. I don't know who to play.
I'll say this: I'm not taking any DeAndre Ayton stock tonight, most likely. But at the same time, he went out of Phoenix, and his most likely suitor might be the Raptors. So for all we know, he dropped 60 tonight as an audition for Nick Nurse and that team.
Interesting.
So,
And then he'll go there and he'll get absolutely just crushed with 42-minute appearances too. So those point drops should be fun. That's an interesting take on this. I would actually like to see back in that game they scored 4. I don't know, kind of talking off the top here, but I'd be curious if Pascal started at the 5 and they just aggressively doubled him, because I think we're going to see Precious Archua start at center tonight, which I almost like that more for DeAndre. It's almost like awkward when they go small. And there's still a big guy in the center. It kind of puts him in a weird spot. I know in theory you should think the tall guys should dominate the short guys, but it's sometimes just not that simple, unfortunately. But yeah, somebody said proud of Brian for distancing himself from Ayton this year.
So I'll say this: I still track all my Ayton plays in a folder and with Pickett. So like it's still profitable, but I've been a lot more selective in my how I pick it because I really only take it now where it's a legitimately good matchup. I didn't post it because I was in Maryland all weekend, but I did take him against the Spurs. I tailed this
Me
guy in the
too.
Discord.
Me too.
Yeah, I got the thing. I was in PA before going into Maryland, and I saw actually it's legal in Maryland, which is so funny
Just
because
open.
I was so used to Maryland being a illegal state when I was in college that I legit forgot it was legal in Maryland, and I was like, I want to go drive to PA to place this 8-and-bet. My friend's like, you're a moron. You could just do it now. And I was like, shit, you're right. Like I was just so trained for that. But I did take that after you posted it. So I think he's a guy where you gotta pick his spots because the whole Suns idea of we're gonna sign him and hold him captive after he tried to sign a deal with another team is kind of been a mixed bag of nuts. Where there's some times where I feel like that team as a whole just does not want to play together. So it's very interesting.
Yeah, which I guess kind of even feeds into our like for Toronto money line there, although they're not as strong on the road traditionally. But yeah, this went on a weird tangent. We started talking Chris Paul. LJ Normandy hit us with some logic saying don't trust Chris
Yeah,
Paul with your coin, which is absolutely hilarious.
yeah.
Uh, and I think I like Mikal Bridges, but can't decide. Brian, of course, goes on a tangent the moment we get to mention DeAndre Ayton, and that leaves
He's
us.
right there. He's in the background. He's in the
Yeah,
background there on my wall.
there you go.
Got that signed poster. But do you want to recap your two play? Actually, our three plays. We are on the same. We're gonna go fucking 0 for 6. You want to go? You want to go first? This is the first time we're on
Hell
multiple
yeah.
plays together.
Hell yeah. No, this is going to be a good night, man. I'm feeling good. I'm going Gary Trent over 18 and a half points. Better odds on FanDuel. I believe it's minus 112. I got it minus 113. Nick Claxton over 16 and a half points is minus 115 on DraftKings. And it still was as the show began, so I don't anticipate that it moved. Draymond Green over 15.5 rebounds plus assist was a during the show ad for myself and I believe Brian as well. I don't know where that line ended up moving to, but I think minus 105 was the last, or I'm sorry, it was the best option last we checked.
Yes, so that is also the play I'm hopping on. I'll post it because I did get it at plus money, but in fairness, I never like to post lines that don't exist anymore. Ryan was smart and posted on the show. I did put my hat on to fully embrace the last pick of the draft look. So this is my last pick of the draft complete outfit, but I am on Draymond Green's RA with Ryan. I'll post that in a second at minus 105 for a unit. I'm also splitting units on Nick Claxton, his RA, I mean his PRA and his PR, 27.5 and 29.5, both minus 120 on DraftKings. So that's the other plays I posted earlier. And then I am on DeJounte Murray over 30.5 PRA. I don't know why PointsBet is like the only book giving it a line. It's a little weird because there actually is other Hawks players up on FanDuel and some other books, but super strange to think that there's no lines available, considering that for all I know, Trae Young is playing, but we'll find that out later. But those are the three players I'm on. So I do think we are going to have a good. The rumor. Someone said the rumor is the Hawks are disbanding before the game. That would be wild. They better avoid my bet if a whole ass franchise disbands before a game. But those are the three plays I'm on. Me and Ryan happen to be on two of the same things. So hopefully we can at least be right with our combined minds to create a profitable night for the show.
Yeah, let's do it, man. We don't end a lot of these shows on similar looks. We're pretty good at kind of branching them out. But tonight we kind of saw eye to eye on a few spots here. So pretty excited about it. I have 3 plays currently. I'd like to try to get to 5, but also obviously won't force it. So kind of keep an eye out in the Discord. If you're a part of the Discord, I'm trying to post more stuff to Twitter as well. So I'll post a few plays on Twitter here shortly as well. But Brian, you got anything else?
No, that's all. I'm
Awesome.
gonna go take a nap on the floor.
I'm gonna go.
I'm still recovering from the weekend, so you know, that's what we want to do. But we appreciate it. Thank you guys for tuning in. Ryan and Brian Talk Sports, as always, presented by Pickett Sports and our new sponsor, Boom Fantasy. Trying to get the rights to Nelly's song "Here Comes the Boom," but that's a back office issue. But we really appreciate you guys being out here, and we like hanging out every Monday at 5.
Hell yeah, we do. Thanks, guys.